Super excited to be talking to you about an introduction to artificial intelligence. If you're not familiar with the acronym that we use, the AI acronym, it does stand for artificial intelligence. Now, today we're going to focus on what AI is, how it's being used in everyday business work, and how to use it responsibly. No technical background is needed. This is a practical, plain language overview. And by the end, you should feel more confident talking about AI and using it productively throughout whatever your work is that you do. So, first, I just wanted to start with a little bit of a definition and scope of what AI is. Um, AI refers to computer systems that can perform tasks that normally require human intelligence, such as understanding languages, recognizing patterns, making predictions, and assisting with decision making. So, AI is a transformative field of computer science, really based on creating machines that are capable of performing these tasks that typically are done by humans, that learning, the reasoning, and the problem solving. So AI refers to the simulation of human intelligence in these machines that are programmed to think and learn like humans do. AI systems can perform tasks such as visual perception, speech recognition, does decision making, language translation, really whatever it is that we need it to do, it's there to assist us. So I think of these AI tools that we have available as assistants. Now, speaking of these AI tools, we'll get to a few of those here, but I don't know if you knew this, but AI is not new. We feel like it is. We feel like it really just came out within the past 5 years, but it's really been around for over 70 years. The idea started way back in the 1950s, and researchers have been working on it ever since. So, what feels new is how fast it has improved recently, but the foundation has been building for decades. I just kind of, that blows me away. It's kind of like when we think back on how long computers have been out and, just kind of thinking on that history side of it. So, AI is not anything new, but it is evolving. It is becoming a term that we use daily. It's a term that it's an application that I use all day long, every day of the week. It's not something that is going away. It's something that just continues to improve to be more end user focused. So, how businesses use AI? Well, AI really helps us to work faster and smarter every day. It helps automate repetitive tasks like drafting emails, summarizing reports, and really kind of streamlining the communications that we do so that teams can really focus on high value work. So, beyond automation, though, AI analyzes large amounts of data. It can help spot trends, generate insights, and really support better decision making across your organizations. So, companies are using AI in nearly every department from HR to finance to sales, IT, customer service, really to help boost productivity, cut down on costs, and improve customer service. And if you stop and think about it, customer service is where you probably saw AI introduced first. If you've ever gone onto a website, which I've recently done this and keep testing it, I'm using it all the time myself. You go onto someone's website and you need to get help or you need to ask about an order you placed or whatever the case is, you're actually talking with an AI tool. It's been around forever. You even do it when you call a support number. So AI has really been around for a long time. Now it's really in the hands of us as end users and can be a very strong tool that can assist us through our day to day lives, including different department applications. So when we think about, and think about for yourself, what is it that your role is at your organization? If you're in HR, you could use it to summarize candidate resumes, draft job descriptions, analyze employee engagement comments, automate categories, expenses. It could be used for budget variances, creating financial summaries. There's so many different things that we can use them for. So when it comes to using these AI tools, I can't say that one tool is really better than another. They all work similar to each other. It just kind of depends on what it is that you have available to you. Now, AI has definitely grown. Even over the past 4 months, we just think in short terms, this year alone, how things have changed. In 2025, there were over 8,000 active AI tools available. Already this year, there are over 14,000 active AI tools, 68% year over year growth. That is unbelievable. As a matter of fact, I actually have a little search open here that I want to show you just real quick here. I asked I use Microsoft Edge, of course, because I'm a Microsoft Master Instructor, but I went into Edge and it has built-in Copilot. So I asked it, how many AI tools are there in the world? Look at this response that it gave me. As of 2026, there are approximately 9,000 AI tools and platforms worldwide. But I like the way that AI is being used here in my browser because it's giving me different categories on whatever it is that I'm searching for. And you should be doing this as well. I'm using Microsoft Edge because I know Copilot is built in. And if you have the Copilot app, in your organization, if you have the license for Copilot, you can even be using it further beyond the free version of what comes standard, which I highly recommend because then you're connected to your 365 accounts. But this is breaking it down based on regions, different startup AIs, because I swear every time I turn around, there's a new AI tool that somebody is talking about. I hear people talking about it in the grocery store. We see it in advertisements on TV, on the internet, wherever it is that you go, everyone is talking about AI. So just wanted to kind of show you that because we don't always realize how prevalent it is. So there are, as we just talked about, so many different AI tools available. In your handouts, you do have a more descriptive example of the different tools that are available. And they have, like I said, a lot of similarities to them. I'm partial to Microsoft Copilot. I'm a Microsoft Master Instructor, but I also have a Microsoft license. So why wouldn't I want to use a tool that is built in across my 365 apps? But I also use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is similar, just like Claude, Google's AI. There I could go on and on about the different options, and you could always go to your favorite internet browser and ask for the opinion of what is the favorite, but it kind of depends on what it is you do. Some work better in specific areas. Today I'm really just going to do a few demonstrations based on the two most common, which are Copilot and ChatGPT, just to give you a comparison of different tools and how they work and how they are similar to each other. And you'll see why I really am more partial to the Microsoft 365 arena. But some key benefits of AI: definitely saves time on repetitive tasks. I'll show you an example of what I mean by that today. Whether you're drafting emails, you want to summarize a report, you want to analyze data, those kind of things are stuff that I do every single day in an AI tool. It helps improve accuracy and really helps with reducing human error. Unbelievable how accurate it can be. But we have some things that we'll talk about when it comes to making sure that things are apples to apples on what they should be providing. We'll get to that here in just a second. But AI tools can really enhance that productivity and that workflow efficiency that we thrive for every day. I don't know if you do this yourself, but I'll think throughout the day, okay, I just spent an hour doing this. Is there really an easier way that I can do this? Back in the day, I used to job shadow people to see if they were using the right software, because sometimes we're trying to, create a newsletter in Excel when, there's better tools to be doing that with. So AI tools can be a little bit different in that respect as well, but with Microsoft 365, things are becoming very, very consistent across the board. And you'll see what I mean by that here in just a minute when I talk about some different examples. But the AI risks, we need to remember confidentiality. So anytime that you go to an AI tool, if you're using confidential information within that AI tool, stop. Especially if you're online in an application that doesn't have the strong security behind it, like Microsoft Copilot does. Copilot information, if I open up a person's, if I'm, offering a job to someone and it has their name, it has what we're offering for benefits, etc. I'm not worried about opening that in my Copilot on my system because I know that is not going anywhere. I can't say that for all AI tools that are available out there, the 9,000 tools that are there. So, a big, kind of rule of thumb is never put confidential information out there because a lot of those systems do share that information back and use it for learning. So you want to be very careful. Data privacy concerns are a huge aspect in businesses today. Also, keep in mind that an AI tool cannot give you advice, so to say. We can ask it for information, but it cannot give you advice. um, you know, which program should I use? They don't know which program you should use because they are not a human. They don't know the real information behind the scenes. So don't be over reliant on the AI. We still need that human contact. So anyone that has been afraid of, losing jobs because of AI, it's going to enhance your job. It's going to help you do your job better, more efficiently, those kind of things. But we need to make sure that when you are chatting with your AI tool, keep confidential information out of it. Be careful on what you're connecting with. Make sure that you proofread whatever it is it generates. Don't just take word for word of whatever your AI tool produces and use that for your marketing material. You still need to put your touch on it. So never take anything apples to apples. You can always use it, but put it in your own words because your organization may not want you to say it that way. You wouldn't normally say it that way. Even if I'm having Copilot do speaker notes for a presentation I'm doing, I never leave the speaker notes exactly the way they're produced by my AI tool. I always put my own spin on it. And you need to think about that too. So just kind of be careful with what is produced by it because it can make mistakes. So AI tools use what are called prompts that are chats. It's really how we communicate with the AI system that you're doing. So we communicate very similar no matter which AI tool you're using. And AI as an organization, which is technically not owned by like an individual company or anything like that. It's kind of like the internet. The internet is not owned by an individual company. AI is a technology that people build off of to create their own individual tool that we use. And their own individual tool can be different depending on what it is and what type of industry it's for, etc. So we want to make sure that the tool that you choose to use, you give it clear instructions so that you get better results on the output that you're going to get. Um, like I said, I'm partial to Copilot, but Copilot, because it's part of your 365 suite of applications, it is automatically connected. We can say, I wanted to search the internet or I wanted to search inside my 365 account. You cannot do that with all of the other AI tools unless you connect them. You have to tell it to do that. And that's where governance comes in. When we talk about organizations using AI tools, you have to think about the governance, the security side behind that. Because if you're taking an AI tool that you just thought sounded really good and downloading it or using it, sign up for an account for it, does that match your company's governance policy for AI usage? Not always, because we don't always want the end users to be connecting to a system that doesn't play nice with our other applications or that we have to pay extra for, and a lot of things behind the scenes. So, as an end user, I would never recommend just going out to the internet, finding whatever you want to use. Make sure that you know what your company policy is on AI usage. Okay. But when it comes to effective prompts, so the communication that we do with the system itself, we want to have this foundation of good prompting. The biggest thing to remember is that AI only knows what you tell it. What are you putting into that chat? The clearer, the more specific you are, the better the result is going to be when you enter that in the system. Providing context, who the information is for and why, what is the objective, really does help the AI match the tone and the intent of whatever it is you're chatting about. Like if I wanted to create a new email or help me respond to an email, if I just say, respond to this email, does it understand what it is I want it to respond to? We don't want to be too generic. If I say, what are the best software programs? How is it going to know what I mean? How does it know? If I ask it for travel information, we're going to be, going to Dallas, we're going to be doing a conference. The more detail we can give it, the better the results are going to be. Do we want to be located by the airport? Do we need accommodations for so many people? Do we need conference rooms? What type of equipment do we need? Do they have food? We need to give it the details. Otherwise, it's going to be very generic. You know, tell me hotels that are near the Dallas airport. It's going to be very, very generic. We need to give it more information. Tell it what the role is as well. Like, act like an HR specialist helps guide perspective to the AI chat while specifying what it is that, who am I? Who are we supposed to be acting like? Those are the kind of things that a lot of people make mistakes on, and they get frustrated with AI tools and say they don't work. They say they don't give them what it is that they wanted to get out of it. So we need to think about the ethical side of things. Artificial intelligence is great, but use it responsibly. Make sure that it aligns with your organizational values. Okay. Whether you're a large organization, you're a small organization, we really need to teach employees about using AI safely. So it can help us with the things it's built to do, like improving productivity without creating the risks. So ethical AI use isn't just about technology, it's about human judgment, accountability, and the trust side of things. So we need to make sure that we think about data privacy and security every time we are using these, avoiding personal or private customer details, really making sure that the data is going to be safe that we're having the AI tool use. So when it comes to the ethical use, just stop and think before you do something. Always stop and think, is this okay with my company or is this information okay to be using in that system? And that's enough of that for now because I really want to show you some great examples of how things work. So before we go into a few examples, where is AI today and where is it going? Well, AI tools, especially the tools that we use regularly like ChatGPT and Copilot, they have made major changes over the past few months, really since the beginning of this year. So these AI agents are very powerful tools and they do what is referred to as more of a deep reasoning. They have more current information because back in the day when we started using these chat tools, they weren't current. They were 2 years old. And so we want to be careful with the information that we were taking out of there. They are now more current because they can search the internet for recent information. But keep that in mind, what I just said. They can search the internet. Is everything out on the internet true? Absolutely not. So look at the source of where that information came from and do the human interaction to verify the information before you share it. I had a customer recently that was doing some searching on some stock information and provided it to the executive committee, and it was not accurate. So you want to be extremely careful with what it is that you're producing out of there. So let's take a look at different ways to actually use these tools. So as I had mentioned, I'm going to be kind of focusing on Copilot and ChatGPT. I have a license for both of these AI tools. So right now I'm in ChatGPT. So I have an account. And by the way, I have a paid for account, not just a free account. Most of your AI tools will have free versions where you just give them your email address and some other details, and then you can use their tool. That's all great, but they're not going to give you the power that you get and the security behind the scenes of the ones that are paid for versions. So in most organizations, they decide which tool do we want our employees to use. If they want you to use ChatGPT, they can get an enterprise license. Even with Copilot, we can get an enterprise license, and then we assign the licenses to the users. So, anyway, just so you could see, there's a lot of similarities between these tools. So, when I come into ChatGPT, there's a navigation pane on the left hand side that you can see. I can start a brand new chat. I have a list of recent chats. So, if I want to go back to something that I was chatting with a couple of weeks ago, I can continue that conversation. But it's really in the middle where we actually do the chatting. And I just wanted to do a little comparison with you on the differences of using ChatGPT versus what do you get when you're actually using Copilot. So when we open up these applications, let me just give you an example of doing a chat. So if I come into the chat window and I either type in or I talk to it, it does have a microphone that you can talk to it. I wanted to explain artificial intelligence in simple business terms for non technical users. I'm telling it that I want it to use 5 bullets and one short concrete example. I'm giving it the information I want it to produce. When you click send or press your enter button, it will automatically come back with the response. So it's going out to this AI tool and it's saying, okay, take this prompt and parse it together with all the information that we've trained you on and bring back a result. That's how AI works. We ask it a question, ask it for information, and it automatically provides an answer. So it's going to follow what it is I told it to do. It gave me 5 bullets and it's giving me an example. If I want to use that in an email, I want to use it in a Word document, whatever the case might be, down at the bottom, we get this little mini toolbar that we can click copy to copy that data and put it in a system someplace. And I'm actually going to do that. Let me go ahead and copy that because then I could show you another example here. And let me do a new document here. So I got a new Word document I'm going to open here, and I'm just going to go ahead and paste that information. Then I'm going to go to Copilot next. So I'm going to jump into Copilot, and I'm going to ask it exactly that same thing. Oops, sorry. I have to go back and recopy that because I did a copy paste on the other information. So let me go back and copy this. Sorry, my fingers got lost on my screen here. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to say explain artificial intelligence, just so you could see the difference between the same exact prompt in different AI tools. This is where you kind of can learn which one do you like the responses of better, etc. So this one is coming back with the same thing. It's telling me, it's giving me a title, etc. Here's my short concrete example. Once again, down at the bottom, I have my tools that I can use to copy that response. I could put the responses in my Word document. So they actually came back with pretty close examples and pretty close on the bulleted items on the responses that we got. But it's kind of cool that we can actually do that. But let me kind of take you to a different scenario with this, because let me go back to my Copilot here, and I want to say up at the top of this window, I have a tab. When I'm in Copilot, I can do this. I can't do this in other tools. I can click work or web. So I was on web, meaning I wanted to search the internet for that information. Is it going to be different if I'm on work? And what does that mean? Well, what that means to us as end users is it's going to look at my 365 account. So it can only look at what I have rights to. So it's very secure. So I can say the exact same thing, asking it the same, oops, I did it again, asking it the same exact question, looking for an example of artificial intelligence, but it can look within my 365 account for that information. So if I have any documents, I have any emails, anything in my 365 account, it can search across it to answer that question. So big difference on having it be connected to my Microsoft 365. If I wanted to just be looking at my 365 account, I can have it do that. Well, what if I actually want to take that a little bit further and ask it, is any of this information available in my account? I can see if it has anything. And the best part about that is if it finds anything, it's going to come back and not only tell me that, yes, it does, it will give me some information about it and hyperlinks to actually get to the corresponding information. I can't necessarily do all of that if I'm in another AI tool unless I tell the system to connect to my Microsoft account. Red flag comes up in my head because I'm saying, okay, connect to this system, connect to my Google Workspace, connect to my Microsoft account. I'm giving this system that has public availability access to my system. Not as secure as some applications, some other AI tools. So you always want to be very, very careful with that and talk to IT about what the policy is. But anyway, just so you could see, when I asked it, I'm in my work account, it actually came back and it says, yes, very similar information already exists in your account. It says files in your account that already cover this. It's giving me hyperlinks to the information. What this means for your question, it's breaking it down on how you might use this practically. I could even come back and I could say something like, do I have any files that include information on using ChatGPT? It's going to search my cloud accounts that are a part of my Microsoft 365 for any files that are related to whatever the topic is. If I'm looking for SOPs, I'm looking for the latest financial statements, whatever it is that I'm looking for, I can use Copilot as a search tool. To me, that is absolutely fantastic. But you need to get to know how the prompting works, no matter what AI tool it is that you're using. Think about how it works in the background. Now, I'll give you a little bit more information on how it works here in just a second. But just so you could see when it comes back with the information, it says chat GPT files in your account. Once again, it's giving me a brief overview of what it is. It's giving me a hyperlink to it. Ooh, that one's misspelled. I didn't notice that. But actually, did you know that you can actually use an AI tool to help change the language and do grammar checking, do spell checking for you, have it change your formatting? It can do all of that. As a matter of fact, I was using that this morning because I had a document from a couple years ago and I had some mixed formatting in there. So I said to make sure that all the formatting matched a specific font, the headings were a certain way. I wanted it to highlight things in a yellow color that were based on this. Whatever it is you need it to do, whether you're using Word, you're using Google Docs, you're using, a spreadsheet application, your AI tool can do those kind of things. Think about how smart they are and how much time you can actually save by using an AI tool. But anyway, it came back with all that information, and I could even take it further and I could say, give me a summary give me a summary of each of these files that I could share with the leadership group. Whatever it is that I want. So I'm kind of showing you some prompting examples with this. Now, can I be doing that same thing in my other tools? Not really. I would have to actually attach the file, which I can do in any of my AI tools. So I'll show you this here quick, and then I'll go back to ChatGPT and show you how I could actually attach a file and ask it information. So anyway, just so you could see, it came back with, there's that misspelled introduction. You can see that it came back with a summary of each of these. Now, if I wanted that summary to actually be in a Word document, I could tell the computer to do that for me. Create a Word doc based on these summaries that is professionally formatted, just like that. Now, if you stop and think about how much time you can save, I originally said that with AI, I was saving, well, I started out with about 30 minutes. Well, that increased very rapidly after I started using AI tools. I said 30 minutes, I jumped it up to an hour. I think now I'm over 2 hours of time savings based on the different things that we can do with these tools. So anyway, just so you could see, it automatically created a Word document. Executive overview, ChatGPT resources. I can click on it and automatically open that Word document and do whatever I want to do with it. But just so you could see, it professionally formatted it because that's what I told it to do. So it automatically put all those summaries into one document for me. Wonderful. How long would that have taken you to do? For me, that would have probably taken me a while. I would have had to go to find each of the documents, go to them, do my own summary, read through it, do a summary myself, then write it out, put them all together. It would have taken me a lot longer. But let me kind of go back to ChatGPT here for a second. Oops, sorry. Go back to ChatGPT, and I'm going to actually start a brand new chat because I'm going to switch gears on my topic. It's a good idea to do a new chat each time in any of your AI tools that you use because it needs to know, that you're switching topics. Otherwise, it remembers what your conversation previously was about. But if I want to attach files, I'm going to click on this plus sign and I'm going to go to, well, I could go to recent files. Otherwise, I could create an image. I could go to add photos and files. I'm just going to go to this add photos and files so I can grab a file from anywhere on my computer, which, by the way, I could do that in Copilot as well. But in Copilot, I can just put in a slash or go to my work and it will automatically look for my cloud-based files. But I'm just going to go into real quickly here. I'm going to add in 2 operating procedure Word documents. And I'm going to ask ChatGPT to compare these 2 files. It will automatically do a comparison, and I could do that in any of my AI tools. I'm uploading that file. It doesn't have access because I do not have ChatGPT automatically connected to my 365, but I can upload it. But do I have confidential information in those files that I just uploaded? I don't want to do it if I do. If I have, here's the name of my customer, here's how much they owe or how much we invoice them over the past year, I'm not going to do that with any of that type of information. Redact it. It has to be generic information, but it still could analyze the data. So it came back and it's giving me key differences, communication strategies, etc. If I wanted to create a Word document with an outline of the comparisons, sons formatted casually, I can ask it to do that. And by the way, I didn't fix my spell check because these AI tools are very intelligent. If you get close to the spelling of the word, it understands what it is you were trying to say. So they have become very well trained. I'll put it that way. So anyway, it's coming back and it's actually doing exactly the same thing as what Microsoft Copilot could do. But I didn't have to, in Copilot, I wouldn't have to attach the files. Here, I have to attach the files. In Copilot, I can really just ask it to look at these files, and it can do that same exact thing because if they're saved in my cloud, SharePoint document library, or in my OneDrive, it automatically has access to that. Now, keep in mind, when I say having access to it, it only has access to what I have access to. If it's trying to go to, like if I'm in HR, I'm not in IT, and I'm asking it to go and get an IT, standard operating procedure, and I don't have rights to that, it can't do that, which is great for security. So anyway, just so you could see, it's giving me this link to download that Word document. So think about how you could be using these tools in your organization. How are they going to help you save time? Now, I'm going to go ahead and open this document so you can see what it actually looks like. Oops, I had a dialog box already open. But let me bring that over to the screen here so you can actually see the comparison that I ended up getting. So we have a lot of benefits of using an AI tool to really help us with different information that we need to work with. Doesn't matter what it is that you're trying to work on. You can have it rewrite an email for you. It can summarize a long conversation of emails. And let me actually show you an example of that, because I think this is actually one of my favorite things that we could do. So let me share my Outlook with you. Now, of course, you could do these same kind of things if you're using Google products, you could go to Google and use their AI tool to do this as well. It's kind of a standard feature that we have. But of course, Microsoft is a little bit stronger because it's directly within my application and works a little bit easier that way. But let me go to an existing email. I want to go to, well, maybe I'll just search for it to make it a little bit easier. I want to go to an email from Heather. And this is a long conversation of back and forth communication. And what AI can do is automatically summarize this information. I can go to my Copilot at the top right. I'm hesitating on the icon and I get suggested prompts, suggested features that it can use, the AI tool can use. I can just click summarize. It can do a summary of this email and start a reply to it, or it can suggest what my next steps should be. I'm going to click summarize. So it's going to look through that huge conversation we've been going back and forth for multiple weeks, and it's going to summarize that whole thing for me. So I can be using Copilot directly within Outlook. It can help me write an email. I can tell it the tone I want, who the audience of, who am I sending this email to? What is the objective of it? Whatever it is that we need, it can be used. So here's my summary on what it is that it brought back on what I need. So I could ask Copilot further questions just to break this down to show you how powerful AI tools can be. Are there any next steps that I should be aware of? So it can look at that, or it can look at all of my emails. I tell it what I want it to look at. Look for my next upcoming appointments, look for my emails, look for my tasks, and let me know what should be on my radar. Now, I could do that, but these AI tools that we're talking about today, ChatGPT, Copilot, and even a whole bunch of other ones, have even better features built in. They have what are called agents or GPTs, where we can create a GPT to automatically give us things that we want to look up regularly. I have a couple that I use every single day, multiple times throughout the day. I'll show you those in just a second. But just so you could see what it came back with. So based on that context, here's what I need to follow up on based on that email. Now, I like having Copilot be my assistant to be able to help me know what I should do. So great option. But I want to jump back into our browser options here, our AI tools, I should say, back into the internet browser. And if I'm on ChatGPT, you'll notice on the left-hand side that it has this option here called Explore GPTs. You could create a GPT, give it a name, tell it what the rules are, and then you can put in what are called suggested prompts. So if every time you come in at the beginning of your day and you want to have a prompt that you click on that goes out and looks for specific information, I need to know what files I created that have been modified by somebody else since in the past 24 hours. Or if you were gone on vacation and you need to do some catching up, what did I miss for chats, posts and Teams channels, emails, appointments, tasks? What needs to be on my radar? We can use these GPTs. So when we talk about AI and we talk about, yes, I can talk to it and ask it a question. I could have it do research for me. We could use these GPTs to enhance. It's like an assistant to Copilot. So let me show you an example of what I'm referring to. I'm going to go back to Copilot itself. And on the left-hand side, I have this daily agent that I have created. Now, we'll do another session just on agents again, so that you can get a better idea how you could actually create these. But I just want to show you the power that is behind AI itself. And this is not just for ChatGPT and Copilot. Other AI tools are doing the same thing. So you can create it and then use it whenever you need it or set it up to automatically work instantly whenever you want it to. It can deliver an email to you and say, here's your prompt. Here's the results of your prompt. So anyway, I have this daily agent. I clicked on it from the left-hand side and it gave me, I can search or I can use the suggested prompts that I built into it, where I have meetings today. I have summarized chats and channels. I have new employee. So if there was a new employee that was set up in the system, what's my next steps on what I need to do with that new employee that's been added in? Make sure that I'm not missing anything. This is the power of AI. So think about your role. Think about what it is you do during the day. How can an AI tool help you? then once you find some suggestions on, different things that AI tools can help you with, think about your department, think about the group and how these AI tools can help there. It's amazing what you can find that AI can help you with. So anyway, let me just give you a few more examples here because we're going to run on a time real quick. But let's say that I want my daily agent to go out and gather a list of emails, I'm sorry, meetings for today, including time and title, formatting meetings in a table with columns. I'm telling it how I want it to even be formatted. I just click send. I do this every morning. I actually have an agent. This isn't my real one. I have an agent that actually goes out and looks for what tasks should be on my radar, what appointments do I have coming up today, what do I have in chats and channels that I haven't responded to that should be on my radar. It can do that. I just click a button and it automatically looks at my entire system and comes back with what I need to be focusing on. If I had to do that, I have to go to multiple applications to do that. And then I have to figure out, okay, now what should I be working on? AI is going to do that for me. It scans through my system and it looks for other things and prioritizes things for me. Now, I still need to review and say, okay, you thought it was higher priority, but this really to me is higher priority. So we still need that human interaction. But look what it came back with. So it came back with, now I don't have a lot on the calendar that it's looking at, but just so you could see, this is the format that it would come back as using. Now, I also have another one on the left-hand side here called ops files, just so you could see another example of how these could be used, whether you're in ChatGPT, Copilot, etc. This is another one that I have that I wanted to retrieve the latest approved work instructions for, and I can tell it what it's for, and return the best match or any close alternatives if it doesn't have a perfect match. You can be creating these or just even typing these in to have your agents, or I should say, your AI tools automatically be doing the searching for you. But what if you need to just do some general searching? Like normally I would go to the internet and I would go to the internet and ask it information. How do I do this? How do I do that? What is the latest information on, using or having a laser printer, or I'm looking for an e-size plotter? What e-size plotters are available? If I do a general search, do you know that you can get like 1 million websites that are going to come back? In an AI tool, it's going to help narrow things down. Let me show you. I'm going to actually go back and do a new chat here, and I'm going to do the same chat in both systems so you can see what the results are. And at the top, because I'm in Copilot, I'm going to say I wanted to search the web. And I'm going to ask it for, we need hotels in the Dallas area that have conference rooms and hotel suites with a restaurant. I won't fix that. 4 stars or above. Just to show you how you could do this. These are the things we could be using AI for. My sister just took a trip. She put in where she wanted to go, what they wanted to see. If you need specific facilities available, rooms available, you want to be able to book the trip directly through your AI tool, you can do that. Whether it's a business trip or not, you can do that. So anyway, it came back with, here's the top 4-star and 5-star Dallas hotels with conference rooms, space, suites, and restaurants, just so you could see all of that. If I wanted to go further into this, I could continue that conversation, but let me show you how I could do that same thing in ChatGPT. I'm going to start a new chat here in ChatGPT. I'm going to put in what my prompt was. Oops, sorry. I have to go back and copy that same exact prompt. So let me copy that same exact prompt because I want to do apples to apples here, just so that you could see. how these AI tools can work for you, because I can't make the decision for you on which one you should use. That's going to be up to your organization really on what works best for the whole company, because your chats could even be shared with coworkers. So if I'm looking for this conference information, I'm not the person that's really going to be doing the booking. We have our procurement person has to do it for us because they're keeping track of all the expenses, etc. I could share this with them. I could share it with anybody that I need to share it with. So think about all this power behind how an AI tool actually works. It's pretty amazing. But anyway, you can see how it came back with the results. So this one, actually, I really like this. It's actually showing us where the hotels are actually located. Now, I could have asked Copilot to do that same thing, but just so you could see, it's basically coming back with similar results. And actually, when I'm looking at the names, it's coming back with similar names of the hotels as well. So you can see that it gives you suggestions down at the bottom, both in Copilot and in ChatGPT. If you want, I can narrow this down further by saying the number of attendees, the budget, the preferred area, specific room block size. So the more information that you give your AI tool on what it is that you're looking for, the better the result is going to be. So think about what it is that you're typing in for your prompt so that you can actually be getting the best result out of it. Now, can I go back and refine what it is I'm looking for? Absolutely. I could come back and say, we will have 200 or 300, 200 attendees at our conference and need rooms for 20 and in the airport area. So if I didn't put it in exactly at the beginning, you still can refine it. That's the intelligence of how an AI tool works. You put in what you know, it will give you suggested prompts. You can use those or look at the information that it provides to kind of help you narrow things down and continue that conversation. I open AI every morning. I open up Outlook, I open up Teams, I open up my Copilot for me, and I am in those applications all day long. I also use AI tools on my phone, which you've probably discovered that yourself as well. I use it every time somebody says, "Well, how should I word that? How should I say that to that person?" I'm using an AI tool to help me. With translation, if you have people with multiple languages, you're working with different clients, you can take a document, write it in English, and have it be translated. Or even if you're doing a meeting, AI tools are built in to your meeting as well. Whether you're using Zoom, you're using, Microsoft Teams, you're using GoToWebinar, whatever it is you're using, AI tools are built in. They are really being incorporated into all applications. So when we stop and think about, where is Copilot going? Where has it even been over the last couple of months? Over the past 4 months, AI has really moved from a great tool to really be capable of working with us more so than it's ever been. It does these great reasoning, the way that it handles complex information, the multi-step tasks that it can now do is above and beyond whatever I could have even imagined it could do. So when it comes to this presentation today on Intro to AI, I hope you got a little bit better information on what it is, what it can do, and that this is not a new tool. And this is not a tool that is going away anytime soon. But be careful with confidential information. Know what your governance policies are within your organization before you start diving in and using these. Really understand the elements of what it is that AI can do. So my recommendation is, if you haven't been using these, find out what you have available through your company and start playing. My recommendation is, anytime that you have a question, how do I create a pivot table in Excel? Do it in AI. What are the latest inkjet printers available? What are the best, high-speed internet companies? Whatever it is you're looking for, give an AI tool a try. Have it help you write an email, write a document, analyze a spreadsheet. It can do all of that. Okay. So I hope that you have picked up a few different things about AI that you weren't aware of and that you're more comfortable exploring and starting to use those tools.